Hi, so this video would be about vaccinating kittens. When we vaccinate, we want to make sure we always have a brand new syringe and a brand new needle, and that they have not been touched or anything like that. We want them to stay nice and sterile. And so we just poke the very tip of the needle into the syringe. I don't know if you can see that. It's just the very tip of it, and then you pull back on the plunger and it'll start filling up. And then I like to just pull it out a tiny bit, see if I get any more, and then you can release all the air out of it by pushing the plunger down. And as long as, I don't know if you can see that, there it is, as long as you have 1 ml or a little more, you know you got all of the diluent out of the bottle. And then next, you'll put the diluent in the bottle of the vaccine, and this is a freeze-dried vaccine, I believe, but you still want to keep it nice and cold. It can never, either of these, we want to keep them always cold. They shouldn't stay out of the fridge or off of ice for more than about 5 minutes. And then, so when you go to push it in, it'll take it up all by itself. And then you can either roll it back and forth like this, or kind of put your finger on the top and lightly shake it. Just make sure, however you do it, you're not bending the needle. So make sure it just gets all nice and mixed. And then I like to look in there just to make sure that there's no chunks or anything. And then just start pulling it up. And I keep negative pressure on the syringe, so I never let the liquid go all the way to the top, because if it gets to the top, then it'll just start taking it back up into the bottle. I'll show you what it does. So if I put it back like this all the way up and I let go of the syringe, or the end of the syringe, it'll just start taking it back up into the bottle. So just always keep the end of the plunger pulled away from the end of the syringe. And I just go back and forth until I have all of it. You can usually see if you get all of it too, but you'll know that that you have everything you need. As long as you have 1 ml of vaccine in your syringe, you have enough. So there's my, oh my gosh, it's not focusing. Oh, you get the idea. There's my 1 ml of FVRCP vaccine. And then you get the kitten. And you find whatever way is most comfortable for you. I find pointing their head to my right is the most comfortable for me, but I'm left-handed, so I don't know if that's a left-handed or right-handed thing, or just what's most comfortable. I don't know. So just find whatever's most comfortable, and then you pull up their scruff, and then you put your pointer finger kind of in between, I guess, I don't know how to explain that, but in between your two other fingers, and it'll make kind of a triangular shaped tent. You'll go right in between the skin right there, and then that's called pulling up a tent. So you want to pull up a tent, and then you're going to insert it, and your goal is to get in between the muscle and the skin. So there's kind of a void in between the two, and you want to get right in between that layer of muscle and skin. So you uncap your syringe, pull up your tent, and then insert your syringe. I know, sorry kitty. And you pull back, it's called aspirating it. You want to make sure that there's no blood going inside the syringe when you aspirate, and that there is no air bubbles going into the syringe. So there may be a little air bubble that gets bigger and then smaller when you go back and forth and, when you aspirate the syringe. There may be a little air bubble that gets a little bigger, but it shouldn't be going blub, 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 and kind of filling up with air. If it does, that means you're not inside the skin anymore. And if you also aspirate it and you see blood, that means you're in a vein or an artery and you just want to pull it out and redo it. If you do catch a little bit of blood going into the syringe, I always err on the side of caution, and I would probably get myself a new vaccine. I don't personally know if you have to do that. I've never drawn up blood in a syringe with a vaccine syringe. It's never happened to me. But if that ever happened to me, I would probably just go grab a new vaccine, because I don't know if I would want my vaccine to have blood in it. So if that ever happens, just get a new one. What else? So she is now vaccinated, and I'll put her back. Go on, Bones. Okay. So now we're all done. And what else can I tell you about vaccines? The FVRCP vaccine, it stands for feline, I want to say it's like rhinotracheitis. It's a really hard one to pronounce, but it's basically, it causes like upper respiratory infections. Or calicivirus is the FVRCP. It's calicivirus and panleukopenia. So those are the three that it protects against, is rhinotracheitis, calicivirus, and panleukopenia. The reason we do FVRCP is because even in 100% indoor cats, those are airborne viruses that can come in through a window. It can come in on your clothes. So definitely, even indoor cats should always have FVRCP current. And what else can I tell ya? We start the FVRCP vaccine between 6 and 7 weeks, and space it 4 weeks apart. And so they get it at 6, 10, 14 weeks. So those are when we do them. Sometimes we do it 7 or 8 weeks, but I space it 4 weeks apart. Other than that, I can't think of anything else to tell you about vaccines, so I hope that was helpful.